this before. You're a good interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
I got a lot of response from your interview.
I know we got a lot of good people love you. Oh my God. They're just like on a Debra Silverman love fest.
It's hysterical. I don't know why they like me so much. I always wonder about that.
Oh, because you're funny and you just say it like it is. You're just, you know. Are you from New York? Is that right?
Detroit, but I lie and say I'm from New York.
Oh,
I'd rather be from New York. Detroit just sounds.
oh, are you kidding me? I've met a couple people from Detroit and I enjoy. Do you know Phil Cusino? I don't know, but Roger Moore is from like some of the most interesting people
Oh
are
no!
from
Oh
that area.
yeah, Madonna.
Yeah, I think like
In good
Detroit,
company.
there's something in the water there. I know it's poison.
This is all so funny. Let's just start the interview.
Okay. All right. All right, ready? Okay, should I start or is this the interview? Should we start it this way? Okay,
Yeah.
let's start it. Okay, so I want to find out what's going to happen this year. I wish I had found out last year so I wouldn't have been so petrified this year.
I wish I could make you bigger. What happened?
I don't know.
I can't get you to get bigger.
Go
What
over,
happened?
are you in Skype? Just double click on my image and it gets bigger. Or go over to the
Oh, you just
corners
that
and
worked.
stretch
That
it.
worked. That worked.
Okay.
That worked. Smart.
Okay, so what's in store for this next calendar year? I wish I'd known last year because it's been such a hard year.
Okay. Well, do you have your chart?
My chart? Yeah. This has to be a personal
Why don't
reading?
you send- Yeah, that's well, that'll give us a place to begin because that's what people really get off on it. Let's start with
Oh,
you. Send here. Give me your birth information. Tell me your
okay.
birth information.
I have to look it up. It's February 15th, 1963. And I
You don't
think
know what?
Beaumont, Texas. And I think it was 106. I just don't know. Can you hold on? Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Hold on, hold on. Beaumont.
What's the name of the city?
Beaumont, Beaumont. Cheryl Teagues is from there. Just, lots of favorite, people are there. Um, hold on.
106 a.m. or p.m.
Okay, mine is 106 p.m. in Beaumont, Texas. Yep, 106 p.m. February 15th, 1963.
Okay, let's just jump in. I want to hurry up and get this thing. Let's go, baby.
All right, go.
I'll I'll have your chart.
Okay. So we're going to start with me as a venue for what's
I'm gonna
going to happen
start
to
with
other people.
well, you're gonna just ask me about this year. I love what you're asking and about astrology and the school that I have and why astrology is so important right now and what's the nature of this time period we're in and
Okay. All right, let's go. Why is astrology so important right now? Why is it so important the nature that we're in?
we're not recording yet, are we?
We are. I thought you said you wanted to let's go
I
record.
love that
Okay.
story. Candid, transparent. This is so perfect. Okay, I love. This is my favorite thing when people just like, "Blah." That's why they love me. That's why people love me because I have no like. So you have lipstick on and I don't.
Does that mean I can't be loved because I have lipstick on?
No,
Please
are you
still love
kidding? They
me.
obviously love you. They must love you because we got such a big. I want to remember what. When was that? I don't know. Whenever we spoke last, that was a. We. You have a very big audience.
I don't know.
Somebody must love you.
Yes. Well, good. I'm glad that both the audience loves us both. Okay, what the hell's going on with astrology?
Okay.
Why does
Here's
it
the answer.
matter?
Here's the answer. So, as of we're right now entering in December of 2017, and for the first time in 30 years, Saturn's entering Capricorn. And the
Okay.
last time this happened would have been 19 like 60,
Oh,
1960, 61. Saturn was in Capricorn. And what year are we in?
19
2007.
2017. What?
It's funny that it was 20. It's 30 years ago. It's about 28 years ago. No, it's about 31 years ago. Anyways, last time it happened was during a revolution when our society began to enter into the 60s. So Saturn entering Capricorn is just the beginning of us saying to ourselves, our government clearly is screwed. We can say that honestly. The Capricorn rules structures, and Saturn is the planet of life lessons. So the life lesson
Oh.
right now is that the structures are being challenged, and it will last from 2018 through 2020. It's a two and a half year cycle, and it talks about us asking hard questions like, what is the nature of government and why do they seem to be so distrustful? Like, why are we completely challenging the infrastructure no longer? The structure is in place, but the quality of the integrity of all the characters, not just Republicans, but Republicans and Democrats. Look what happened today. Another one just had to step down because he was sexually in his past abusive. So everyone is being challenged, the government. And therefore, we have to become our own leader. This is really what's being asked of us is stop looking outside as though they're the authority. We're the authority, and we have to reestablish our definition of how to take a leadership role. That's first of all with our own self. Let's start with our own household. So how do you take care of your kids and your money and your body and your house and the organization and how it's, all those really boring things that we take for granted? You're the leader. I'm the leader of my universe, and I'm a really good leader. Now, you can say the same thing. Can you say the same thing?
I can. I think I'm a pretty good leader.
Yeah. So you guys listening to this, I'm going to ask you, forget about the government. They clearly are inadequate. And the leaders that are the archetypes, like from our president to the senators, they're not playing the leadership role that we would encourage in the name of appropriate integrity, honesty. They're not. Mm-hmm. This is the time. These are the times that the Kali Yuga, in the presence of the biggest picture, there's an Indian system called the Kali Yuga. It goes in 26,000 year cycles. Wow. And it talks about time. It talks about the movement of our evolution. We're at the turning point of one of those, the darkest phase of the Kali Yuga right now, where everything goes down. And they predicted that the people would be lying and society would break and it would be disoriented and dismantled. So we're not, anyone that's interested in prophecy, we're not surprised we're dismantled. What we're surprised about is how thorough it is. Like, this is like the best dismantling system we've ever had.
It is. Everything is getting destroyed. I keep on saying, for folks who have problems over here, I'm in Seattle, in the Northwest, so people are super liberal around here. And so people are traumatized by Trump over the last year. And I said, he's like Kali, the destroyer who's going and destroying everything. But we don't really know what the true intention of the universe is. We may know his personal intentions, or I think I may know what his personal intentions are. It doesn't matter what is driving it. What is driving him. It's just that there's this destructive energy. And like, if we look really frankly, was it that great to begin with? Like, was it really working for us people? It really wasn't working to begin with. So I know it may be, it was some false sense of leadership, and a comforting sense of leadership. But like you said, maybe we need to lead things on our own. Maybe we have to have some anarchy so that we have to have the anarchy to create that leadership within ourselves.
It's not maybe. Look at the results. Like, we're talking today during fires. You had fires in the Northwest. You've had fires in Canada.
Sonoma,
Now we have fires in California to extreme as we speak. Yeah. We've had hurricanes. We've had earthquakes. We've had these floods. We've had incredible. This is not anything but Kali.
Yeah.
So you named it. And that's what the Kali Yuga predicted. There would come a phase where everything would destroy in the wake of creation. But as an astrologer, what I can tell you is, from the biggest picture, we're right on schedule.
Good.
Yeah, back at the ranch, we're like, oh my God, this is horrible. I always make the analogy that if you saw a woman giving birth and you'd never been warned about it, and the 9 months leading up to it, you keep seeing her tummy getting bigger and bigger, and she starts off by throwing up, and then she ends up by being like screaming. You would think this was the worst thing you've ever seen. You would think the whole world was coming to an end. You'd want to cut the thing off her.
Right.
You'd want to interrupt immediately and say, this is not right. Someone tell the truth. All us truth tellers, us loud mouths, would be like, how the emperor has no clothes, look at his balls, better known as Trump's hairdo. Or you'd look at this woman and you go, oh my God, she's got this big fat thing and she can't even stand up straight. And we'd want to interrupt. You can't interrupt. You turn into your wisdom body as an elder, because I'm now 1,000 years old, and you look over at his hairdo and you go, has anybody told you that it looks kind of funny? Or you look over at this woman and you go, like, honey, just warning. I mean, it does look like something's growing on you. I don't know, how do you feel? And she'd be like, well, it's a little weird. There's this thing moving inside of me. I mean, that's weird.
But it's so hard. It's so hard, right, to go through change. And I guess what I don't know is I'm not sure how Republicans feel. Do they feel triumphant, or do they also are feeling hard? And because they're getting all I was trying to put myself like, what would it feel like to be a Republican right now? Not that I'm a Dem, I don't even know what I am, but I thought, what would it be like if I were a Republican? You know, if I truly felt that the things that they're saying are true, that people are falsely claiming things, like it would feel awful for them too. Do you know what I mean? Like it must feel bad on both sides.
That's because you're an Aquarian. I love that you're saying that because no one says that. I constantly put myself, I've had 4 dreams now of Trump. Like we're the very first one I was in a convertible with him was before the election and we were going downhill really fast. And I thought, oh my God. And I turned to him and I said, you think you're cool, don't you? And I said, stop the car. It's such a funny thing. And I got out of the car and I was telling him all about, yeah, it was the craziest thing. And I walked to the side of the road and I found this Canadian sweatshirt with a big maple leaf and put it on and felt comforted. And I didn't know what it meant at the moment, but now I totally get it. Like you think you're cool, and I'm going to Canada. And I'm
right. All of us want to go to Canada. The people who I don't really know what Republicans feel like. Do you think? What do Republicans feel like? So do you see it in astrology? Do you see?
Yes, and I'm so glad you're asking this question. This is so profound. I go on Fox News. Mm-hmm. Like I think every Democrat or whatever we are, because I'm also not what I don't know what I am, but we need to go hear the other side. My fantasy, my dream is like the craziest idea I have, that in every city there'd be these little buildings that came up that were like neutral buildings where the Republicans would come in one door and they'd all sit together talking about the Democrats, and the Democrats would be on the other door and they'd be all like watching the news, and then they would open this like sliding door and they'd say, okay, we're going to have a dialogue and you can't interrupt. They would teach us the skills. I want you to listen to the Republicans. Trump is doing a great job. Unemployment's high. The economy's solid. He just put Jerusalem was just identified as the center of Israel. We don't care what you think. That's a great thing he's doing. And then we want to hear you. I really want to hear them and just say, listen to them. Cut. Now, Democrats talk. Oh my God, it's horrible. Look what he's doing. And they're just unplugged the EPA and there's no more climate change and there's no more conversation. And we would hear each other and we go, holy geez, we are in a ping pong match that gives you a headache. There is no dialogue between the two of us. In every city that you have one of these buildings. And there'd be trained mediators. I'm making this up. Do you love it?
Yeah, no, yeah, I am a mediator. Did you know that? I used to mediate in a small claims court. And to me, I'm listening to this as if I'm like a neutral meta observer of all this. I'm like, oh, well, there's clearly no trust. That's the fundamental issue in this mediation that you set up. No trust.
There is no mediation, number one. We've never had this occur. Like, why is it not happening? I'd love to start a company that said, let's talk. And then 2, there's no trust. You nailed it. Like, we think that they're lying and they think that we're lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like unbelievable. So in the name of astrology, Saturn enters Capricorn the first year, 2018. 2019, so Saturn is the planet of, it's not Kali, it's more like Zeus. Like he's the governor and he's saying we are looking at the government and we're going to dismantle the old structures because this isn't working. And then by the end of 2019, it hits Pluto once every, how often does that happen? That's a good question. Someone should Google this. Saturn conjuncts Pluto. I want to say it happens once every 30 years. Anyways, Saturn's going to be with Pluto for the first time in a long time. Pluto rules Kali. It is the destructive energy. It was founded when they found nuclear energy. They only found Pluto in the 1930s. They never saw this planet before. They couldn't visually see it until they found nuclear power, until they had the word the unconscious from Hitler, from Freud, that there was this unconscious, and Hitler arrived then, where the unconscious power was able to completely whitewash all of us to the point where people were following this man in the name of destruction. So 3 things happened when they found Pluto: nuclear power, the unconscious, and the collective unconscious in the name of Hitler. So that power of Pluto, that planet represents unbelievable power of destruction in the name of nuclear or creation in the name of understanding the unconscious mind and being able to change our program. Look what we've done now with psychology. Since they found Pluto, we have a language for the unconscious mind, and we can talk about changing your thoughts, change your life by rewriting your unconscious. We've got this fork in the road. And right now, when 2020, 19, when Saturn and Pluto are standing together, in Capricorn, we're going to have to take an opportunity to say, are we going to destroy or are we going to create?
Well, will
Like
the
that was
baby be beautiful or ugly? Like, I
bingo.
can't tell. Like, is it going to be beautiful or ugly, or is that really up to our leadership to decide?
Such a great question. Or will the baby be born stillborn? Like we could ruin everything if we don't get together and help. We
Yeah.
could be at the critical moment in time where the planet ecologically is saying, please help me. And if we don't step in with some kind of middle land, we could destroy ours. There is the possibility,
Hmm.
dare we say it on the radio, in 2017, where we could actually, in the polarization of the Republicans and Democrats, in the polarization of men and women, which we're now seeing in full bloom, all the men thinking they can abuse women, not stop. We could either wake up to like, oh, you guys, we can meet together and start bridging this heal this. Let's heal the gap. Or
Hmm.
it could just get wider.
Mm.
But you're helping because you're asking the hard questions.
Okay, so I have a question just because as 2018 comes to close, we have this huge Me Too movement that you talked about. There's, a destruction of all the things that we once held sacred. What happened as we closed 2018? What did you read in 2018 that could kind of explain what's happening?
As I read 2018,
Yeah,
how can I?
or sorry, 2017. Excuse me,
Yeah,
2017.
you're in the future. It's in your chart. You
Yeah.
Aquarian. You're in the future. Um, Well, in 2017, more because 2018 is going to be really rough. That's going to
Right.
make it much more intense. We're going to start this conversation that you're initiating here. It's so beautiful. Of how do we think from Republicans' point of view? Because if we don't, the government will be destroyed. Like we will be either in shambles in the dismantling of the structure in 2017. We're going to definitely be already. He's doing that, and you're right.
Hmm.
He's Kali. I had a dream where he was unplugging everything. I kept saying to him, "What are you doing?" Like everything was being unplugged. Look at it. Like he just shrunk some of the major monuments in our, parks. He's undoing climate control completely. He's taken off NPD, the radio. He's now wanting to stop with Medicare and Medicaid because the deficit will be so big that in order for us to repay ourselves, we'll have to stop. So everything's getting unplugged. Therefore, we'll either stand up and go, whoa, 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 wait. Can't we talk about this? Someone's going to have to jump in and dialogue.
Mm. You know what image popped into my head? The story, when you have a guy that you're dating and then he breaks up with you and he's like, I didn't realize what I had until you left. It feels like that as each unplug, like the beauty of
Exactly.
destroying is you don't really realize what you cherish and what you don't and what you're truly missing or not. Like I keep on saying that to my husband and I'm annoying him to all end because he thinks I'm a Trump supporter because I'm not. I'm just asking the question, right? So I said, what if he's making some decisions that are hard decisions that people that he's just no one has made and so he's pulling the plug and saying, let's just see what happens. Let's like blow this baby up and see what happens. And maybe we'll find out that actually it didn't matter to us that much. Or maybe, we're traumatized because you pulled this cord out. Oh my God. And then like we get used to it and then we're like, yeah, it's not that bad. Like I'm not sure.
No, I love what you're saying. It's such a great question, and I get scared too to be appearing like I'm a Trump supporter because my best friend who lives in Seattle, she's just adamant that he is as dark as they come, and I'm like, look, it may be true. I'm not going to challenge that but I haven't heard from enough Republicans. I want to hear, like, what's been the upside? I'm interested. I would love to do an interview. Wouldn't it be great to have a Republican and
Yeah.
Democrats? Yeah. It'd be so helpful. And then not have it be based on his lying. Like, he's lied all the time. We know he lies. No one's arguing he lies. I mean, that's as clear as day.
Right.
Like, first he says this, but that's not the point. The point is, to your point, if we're in the destructive mode, which everything goes through this, including birthing, when you give birth, right before that baby comes out, there's this critical moment where the baby can't breathe on its own. It has to take that first breath. There's this really scary death and birth are very, very connected at every level. And we're not trained for that. We have a fear of death. Our society is terrified, which I happen in your chart, by the way. You have moon in Scorpio. Did you know that?
No, what does that mean?
Means that you have a fascination with death.
Oh, I do have a fascination for death. I do.
I love that you admit to that.
Wow.
And then it's the fascination with death is for those people that are spiritually open to considering the scary things. And then there's a fixation on birth. We love falling in love, and we love the beginning of the new baby. And we love when we start a new job. That's gotten so much airtime. We just celebrate that entrance. Like, oh, can you believe it? They're just going to have their first house. And oh my God,
Right.
they're, but when death comes, we're like, no, no, don't talk about it. You're ending, your job's over, you're retiring, you're miserable, you're going towards hospice. Why can't that be? I don't understand it.
Yeah, why
'Cause
can't we relish? They're just closing of a chapter and an opening to a new chapter, but we focus on the closing of the old chapter because I know this because my son just left for college. So there's just a loss on so many levels. There's a loss of self, there's a loss of that person, there's a loss of rituals and habits, it's a loss of rules. So like those things are losing a lot, but if you can actually say, well, then there's new rituals, there's new people that will come into your life, there's new, like, there's a corollary for every loss, there is actually a possible beginning and opportunity. But you have to let go of each of these losses and the story behind these losses, or else you don't get to the opportunity part, right? Because you're just like bemoaning the loss.
See, that's what's so interesting about your chart is you have a fascination with it. Your chart is built. You have two things in your chart. One is you're a futurist.
Okay, I am a futurist.
That's how you got us in 2020 and 19 instead of 2017. And then two, you're fearless in the face of death. You're actually fascinated by it. If everybody were willing to consider, like, let's go into the future for a minute. Let's say it's 2025, and we're looking back at this Trump era, and we're saying to ourselves, wow, you remember all those hurricanes and fires and all the stuff that was going down and how all these senators were stepping off their stance and all these men were being called out. And remember that? That was such an intense, that was like the 60s. That was like when everything got thrown up in the air, except we were on drugs then. Now we have no excuse.
Right.
Like then at least it was acid and it was all these crazy. Now we're just being called forward to do it because spiritually there's no vote.
Yeah, all we have is meditation.
Yeah. Now we're all about mindfulness. That's so funny. Now we're all doing yoga and astrology. Remember when astrology came in?
Yeah.
People started to consider what the value of the big picture was. And that was like a brand new era in 2017. But meanwhile, 2025, we're going to look back and go, we made it. And you know how we made it? That wonderful window of time where people really got together and they realized they had to talk. Like it was a radical departure from ever being separated. Let's go in the future and replan and rewrite a happy ending to the story.
Yeah, it got so bad that we had to talk to each other, talk to ourselves, right? Because as you're saying, there's a personal leadership aspect of this, so that there's a personal evaluative statement, right? It's not like, oh, my friends are all upset because we're in Seattle and we're in a bubble. I've got to follow everything that they're saying. I'm also upset, right? Like, it's like, no, like step back and think, well, what do you really think? Is it so bad that things are like the kind of questions that, I mean, I'm asking him, what are your questions? Like, was it really as good as it was that we think it was? Couldn't it be shaken up? Is there some benefit for it being destroyed? Like, what do you really think? You know, I mean, I think that that's the accountability that we have instead of just bemoaning everything. Like, be accountable.
No, you're so right. You know, it'd be really fun is to make a list of questions like all the dreamers, all the immigrants that are being challenged and terrified because they're afraid to be taken away, all the gold that's or the oil under the earth that's being disruptive because they're wanting to take down these monuments in order to get the pipeline, all the elders and the VA people, and wait till the Medicare gets taken out and all the. So we need to have a list of questions where we know where our activism will kick in and about.
Right.
Because I said this at some point we will not be able to just talk about this. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do something.
Right. Yeah. So what is that point? When are you going to be fired up enough to actually go and do something? Because it really, what that is where's the passion in your heart? Like, which I think right now for most people, including myself, right, it's kind of a murky, like, okay, kind of have the passion, but I'm not sure. Someday it's towards eating ice cream, someday it's towards doing the show, what is it? So it will kind of get you super clear about like, what is it that you want to do about it? I mean, my passion is really doing a show and helping people find whatever it is for you. What is it? Like you're saying, is it environmental causes? What is it? It'll be interesting.
So that's where astrology comes in. So there's a couple of things that I want to suggest to your audience that you guys could do. That's to start with yourself, because we're not there yet. The unfortunate part of human nature is We need a lot of pain to change.
Mm.
Like my friend called the other day and she said she's got diagnosed with the first early stages of cancer.
Oh.
And she's very, very wise. This woman's extremely wise. And so then I called back and I said, so tell me, because of course she's part of a community and everyone's talking to her and I wanted to hear her point of view. And she said, well, first of all, if everybody would stop telling what to do, like, let me just sit for a minute. I've got this. And then the next thing she said was, you know what? I trust. She was in radical trust. She was going to go have the first surgery to test the thing. But what I loved about her answer was, I'm not going to go into reaction. I'm going to let this thing, first of all, unfold with my prayers and my meditation and all the stuff that she does first, which I think she's going to be fine, to tell you the truth. But that's what, and then the next thing I said to her was, tell me about your diet. And she said, you know what? It's not that good. And I was like, good. So let's just stop right there. Come back home. You do your prayers, but start with step number one, change something. So we're in crisis right now. We're still in the phases where we're like trying to suss out, is this really dangerous? But what you can do is start with yourself. So I have a couple options. One is we have this community called the starcommunity.com. Do you know about this?
No.
It's really fun. So it's, you just Google thestarcommunity.com and you'll go online, and for $22 a month, you can join this website where I'll tell you every month the full moon's coming in, the new moon's coming in. Like right now, Mercury's retrograde for the next 3 weeks from the 3rd to the 23rd. You guys notice in December.
I hate when that happens.
But you know what? You're so cute. You can know when it happens and not get stuck by it.
Why?
That's
My
the whole point
computers
of-
are so effed up right now. Like I'm losing network connection randomly throughout the house every day. It's driving me crazy.
Already it's already started. I know. I was flying yesterday. I kept waiting to see what would happen. And when I got to the gate and they told me the gate was changed, it was on the other side of the Chicago airport. I was like, oh, like this is welcome to Mercury retrograde. That's okay. So you pay attention to those things. The star community will inform you. But the thing you're going to love about it is there's these montages that I created. They're 7 minutes long and they tell you the story of each sign every month. And there's interviews with famous people. Like this month is Trevor Hall. If you guys have to Google Trevor Hall's music, he is the most spiritually, it's kind of like a reggae beat, but he's got the amazing gift. So and last month was Shailene Woodley, a famous actress that you probably know about from Divergent. And she was in the Standing Rock, very, very active. So every month will be somebody who is standing up for
very cool.
A montage, and then where's the new moon, the full moon, and then where's the retrograde. So you guys who are interested in beginner astrology and you want to know where's the planet today, you can go on that little website for $22 a month and all the stuff comes into your box. So that's one thing I want to suggest for your listeners. Like if you learn astrology and learn about yourself. But the best game in town, which only happens twice a year, it's about to open, is my school, which is called, you have to go to apprenticeship at 3 words, Debra, silvermanastrology.com, and you can get information. But you can also go on my website, debrasilvermanastrology.com, and click on Learn. And you can take a class. Ready for this? It's so cool. For 6 weeks, your chart comes on the screen, like right now on Skype. There's 10 women in the circle, and there's a mentor who's been trained to study your chart. And over 6 weeks, you go into depth, like you would find out your moon's in Scorpio. You'll learn that in the second class. And then you realize, oh, what does that mean? And they teach you all about your life lesson, your purpose, the propensities. And the first 6-week class is just self-awareness.
Okay, give me a highlight just so I have a sense. Is there a quick way that you can tell me my propensities, my moon and moon and Scorpio means, just so people have a sense of what they would get?
This is why I don't like Skype. I don't know why you're using Skype, CJ, when you should be using Zoom. You just broke up. Did you know that?
No. I'm sorry. My question was, what is my,
I will tell you, do you know about Zoom? You might want to change your platform because this is what happens to Skype.
Sorry.
It's so stupid. But anyways, I'll tell you your answer. You've got Sun in Aquarius, obviously the futurist. You have Moon in Scorpio, this deep psychological fascination you have with death and spirituality and dark things and weird things. And then your Gemini rising, you just love to talk. Like your favorite thing is just being able to use your words.
Got it. And so that's something that I'm sitting in the circle and I would get something like that. Yeah.
You would get much more than that. Yes. They would say to you, this is what they would say to you in your second class. They'd say, okay, here's an example. The second class, they'd say, we're going to learn today about how CJ's mind works.
Oh, Lord.
Mercury. Yeah, exactly. Mercury tells us about your mind, and you happen to have Mercury in Aquarius, which means that your mind is super fast, super weird, doesn't follow rules, doesn't fit in, doesn't want to be a Democrat, doesn't want to be a Republican, just wants to ask the hardest questions, and you can't stop thinking. Am I right or am I right?
You're at 100% right. Well, look at us. Look at this interview. You can tell. Okay, so what is that? So what would I learn in the second class? Like what? So
then your homework would be, you would be given a homework assignment on this platform where you'd have to write as a display of your internal dialogue. You'd put on I teach people, put classical music on, you'd have a 7-minute write, and you would disclose your inner dialogue. And then after you would read it back and go, you become very heightened aware of what the ruminations are, the repetitive thought process, and you turn on your observer. You start watching yourself. This is how you become a leader. This is how you will become a leader. Like imagine if Trump, I would love this, took the class, and he became aware that, my thought process is always about that Twitter account. Like I'm always trying to fight back. He's a fighter. He's got Mars very strong in his chart. He's always defending himself and wanting to hear. He's Leo rising, wanting to hear about himself. And he became aware, wow, I have a fixation on my ego getting attention. Mm. And as soon as he realized it, he'd laugh, because all you do when the observer's on is you laugh. You go, wow, that's so true of me. And then once your observer's on, you're like, hey, this would be you. I'm in the future again. I'm ruminating about the weirdest things. I have this ridiculous, and you could turn it off. Mm-hmm. Now that's mastery, but that's what the class teaches. The observer, finding the off button, and understanding your fixations. And it's as simple as looking at where your Mercury is. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay, and then what happens in the remaining 4 weeks? So might as well just take us all the way to the end.
Okay. So the first class is about the elements, which I think we did the first interview book, The Missing Element. You guys can go get that book and find out what your missing element is.
Right.
The second class is Sun, Moon, and Rising, what we just did, your Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Scorpio, Gemini Rising, and the fixation of your mind. The third class, you'll love this, is your shadow.
Oh, okay.
There's an indicator in astrology called your North Node, where you can find out what part of your spirituality is being undermined by go to your shadow.
Okay, what's mine?
I just love that we're giving her a free reading right here on stage.
I know, I love it. Thank you, Lord.
Your North Node is in Cancer. So your shadow is that you think of yourself as a workaholic, like you always want to be working, but your real role, your highest, I didn't turn you off, right? Your highest value is being a mom.
Oh, that's true, Noah, that's true.
And so even though you're so ambitious and you so want to make a difference, your greatest contribution in this life was being a mom.
But is that my spiritual challenge? You mean to deal with the
challenge is that you fixate on productivity and you keep wanting to be valued. You keep wanting to contribute when really your contribution was being a mom. And so that seems too little to you.
Well, I'm done with that. So I'm soon going to be done with that.
You can still be a mom without having kids.
I see. You mean to actually mother other people. Lord, help us all. I see. Okay, that's fair enough. I get it.
A bit of water. Everybody take a glass of water right now. We both. That's so interesting because yours North Node's in water. It's okay to be, CJ.
Okay.
You want to write that down?
Yeah. No, I get it. No, I've been writing, and what I've noticed is just this. And when my son left for college, and my next son is going to be leaving in a year and a half, I was like, I'm done. Like I literally thought, I'm done. What am I supposed to do now? I'm done. I'm done. I could die and be okay. That literally is the thought that I had in my head.
That's a beautiful.
I'm out.
Today's a good day to die.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish people would let themselves consider, if you're in the class, what you'll find out is everyone's here for a reason. Nobody's a mistake. God did not have a bad day when they made you. I'm going to write that down. You were absolutely perfectly designed for your karma, for your life lesson, for your children, for the dog. All of that was destined, and it's not movable. Now, what those things are that present themselves in your life as karma or as destiny, or your husband or your kids or the dog, you get a vote. Like my last session, the woman was like, I keep thinking about divorce. I was like, you know what, honey? I've never met you before, but you've been thinking about divorce for about 15 of the 18 years you're married. She's like, how did you know? I was like, would you stop with that thought? Because it makes your husband crazy. Because any minute now you're leaving, but you haven't left for 18 years. So why don't we change this conversation to how do you commit?
Interesting. Very interesting. So this is what happens during your personal readings, which you still do, it sounds like.
My favorite thing to do. I just do it. I don't do very, I mean, it's hard to get to me because I'm booked out for a couple of months, but, and you know what I have now? This is like the coolest thing. So after you do level 1 and the next, by the way, there's some more content, then comes the second level, which is another 6-week class. And that's when you learn how to do a reading, and you actually can do, by the end of the second 6 weeks, you can actually be an astrologer as a beginner and do readings for people.
Oh, wow. Fun.
And then by the end of the third level, which is the end, you are doing readings and you're actually getting paid, believe it or not. You can actually charge. By the end of level 3, you are certified. You're not certified, but you're in the process of it. But here's the coolest thing. If you get certified, you go on my website and you'll see, if you go on my website, DebraSilvermanAstrology.com, under Work With Me, I have a list of all my certified astrologers who have gone through a rigorous training program, and you can get readings for half the price than you can get from me, and they're just as good. Honestly, I'm so proud of these women. There's one in Seattle who's a really good therapist. She came in as a therapist. Her name is Kiki Erickson, and then she became trained by me as an astrologer. So if you want to do readings in person in Seattle, you can actually go see Kiki, and she's so good. I honestly think, because I've been doing this for 40 years, that the women that I've trained are better than me. Oh, okay, that's not fair. They're as good as me because they're so excited. Like, I'm a little worn out. I can't tell by looking, but I'm in my 1,000-year-old self.
Come on.
I am. That's why there's no.
Where does your astrology say about that? There's got to be something in your chart that's about that.
Yeah, that I'm 60,000 years old. I'm in my 60s, and I've been doing this since I was 20. So that's a long time.
Yeah, okay.
That's my exaggerated self. Yeah, okay.
What's your sign?
I'm a Gemini. That's why you and I get along.
Oh, that's
spontaneous talking, thinking, asking the hard questions, being open-minded, reading everything we can. I just read the best book on the airplane.
What book?
Oh my God, it was so good. Outrageous Openness.
Oh, by
Tosha
Silver. She's in New York. Aren't you in New York? No, she's in San Francisco. She's in the Bay Area. She's great. Yes. She is amazing. Why don't we interview
her? Let's interview her.
You should interview her. She's amazing. You would love her. She's great.
Did you meet her?
I did not meet her. I've interviewed her once or twice. We had the weirdest interview because we were interviewing, and I found her through what is that gal who's on PBS? Christine Northrup had mentioned her. So I interviewed Christine Northrup, and then while I was talking to Tosha, Christine was texting her, and I was like, this is just so weird. And she would say things, and like little bings would happen in the background to emphasize. It was just the weirdest and funnest interview ever. You should interview her. She was great.
Guess what? Because guess what? She's Jewish like me. She's an astrologer like me. And Christiane Northrup just did an interview for me on my Star Community. And yeah, there's only a few of us here. We keep bumping into each other.
Yeah.
And there's some people you can't get rid of.
Am I one of those? What does that mean? You usually can't get rid of it's not good.
I'm so happy we're doing this again. And I love that you interviewed her. What sign is she? She's a
Leo. No, I thought she was a Leo.
Oh my God, you just answered a prayer for me. That's ridiculous. I can't believe this just happened. I'm not kidding. I was praying to find a Capricorn because I interviewed Christiane Northrup for the first interview, and I wanted somebody for Capricorn, and I've been praying, and it's her. It's Tosha Northrup.
Okay, Tosha, I'm sure she hears us somehow.
How do I get to her, CJ? Can you help me?
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll get her information and send it to you.
Best.
Okay, what else is happening in 2018?
Oh my God, I feel so happy. You just made my day.
I'm so glad that you're happy. I'm happy that you're happy. I'm sure it's in my sign.
You're a double air sign, and so am I. Look at us. We're like having a little party here.
Double air sign. That. No wonder we can't focus on anything. I try to keep us getting back to 2018,
oh my God.
And we just keep on drifting into books and Tosha and Trump.
Oh my God, let me help you with that. We're so on target. We're talking about the future.
Okay.
astrology is now, we're going to get to that part.
Okay.
We just talked about how we're going to get the mediators between the Republicans and Democrats. What's more important? We just talked about death and how the planet is going through a Kali Yuga cycle, which is Kali. You don't think we're focused? Let me help you. I am a sewer. I'm a seamstress. I sew things together.
Okay, sew this together for me because I can't. So what does it mean? So we're talking about death and destruction and new beginnings.
Is that surprising to you? Hello.
Well, it's my favorite topic.
And
it's exactly my morbid fascination.
We're in 2017 and we're right smack dab. Everyone listening to this is going, oh my God, I love the way they're talking. Because this is how everybody thinks, by the way. Right. People that do this like, I'm going to follow the rules and I'm going to follow the order and we are going to be normal. Starting when? Oh, that's right. It's a setting on the dryer. Put that away. We're not doing normal anymore. We're in 2017. You feel better now? Normal? Did you say normal? You're an Aquarian.
I'm trying to do...
You have nothing to do with normal. You can't even drink the water. That's how unnormal you are. Come on, let's watch you drink the water. Come on, do it. Oh my God!
Stop!
I want to ding. I want to be like Tosha and ding something. Can someone ding something? So mine sounds like a. Thank you. Love that story. Okay, let's talk about Pluto conjunct Saturn in 2017 at the end or the beginning of 2018, and how the reason why I'm promoting my school and helping you learn astrology is the only comfort that you get in death is when there's an elder around or a wise person or a shaman who prepares you so it's not a surprise.
Okay.
You're doing, CJ, what you're doing is we're using humor to talk about some very heavy topics. I mean, I don't know if it could get any scarier. I don't think the society, my grandmother left Russia during a pogrom where there was literally her brother was murdered by some gunshot. She was on a boat with her 7 siblings and her father who died in her lap, coming to Ellis Island in New York City. That was a scary period of time in history, or her story, I call it. That was when the earth was going through these big changes. This is not unfamiliar to us, but the differences between any other time and now, we've never had 7.5 billion people here. We've never had an internet where everything is being communicated on live time, where you watch the fire in LA on the news. We've never had everywhere you go, I know Tosha, you know Tosha, we know Chris. Everyone knows everyone. We are now so connected. So the pain body is echoing. So when you feel her giving birth right now, Mother Earth is in this death birth cycle, we all feel the pain and we're all like, I am so scared. I don't know if we're going to make it. And then someone else goes, yes, we will. The optimist says, we're going to make it. Right, just wait till 2025. I promise. We're going to give birth because you're.
Oh my God! Wait, did you say it's going to take till 2025 for this to reconcile?
I just figured it out. So it was 8 years. 2017 plus 8 is 20. You're right. You said it. 2025.
Until this resolves itself. Oh my God.
He's unplugging. Listen, he's unplugging everything. We're in the phase of Capricorn. Then comes Aquarius, which you're going to love. From 2020, 2022, we go completely haywire. That's when the systems break. Then comes Pisces, and we all go to our spiritual selves. We return to a Piscean era where we start to say to ourselves, let's be kind. That's going to be the soother. Then it gets into Aries where we start up a whole new game. And by 2025, it's in Taurus, and we all settle down. So we've got a little bit of a movie here going.
Wait, so does this mean that Trump is going to be in here for 2 terms? I think that's what it means.
It's so scary.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Well,
who else to step up? I mean, I wish it wasn't true, but I can't imagine. He has so much power in behind the scenes. They want him, whoever the powers are, that whether it's the Russians or whether it's the Illuminati, the Illuminati, or whether it's the collective unconscious, somebody wanted Trump in, because how did he get in? It makes no sense.
Right. Did you hear that bing? Okay, that's hilarious. Did you just do that?
Oh. I wanted them when they came. Thank you very much. Oh my God, Trump has to. That will be that. No, let's just start. Oops. Oh my God, it's the second time. I don't know. I don't want that to be true. Trump.
Okay.
Let's just simplify this and come back to the beginning of this interview. You guys, you're the leader. And in order for you to be the leader, you have to know who you are. And in order for you to know who you are, you've got to understand your personality type and its strengths and its weaknesses. So you go to thestarcommunity.com and you become, for $22 a month, you start studying what's the full moon, what's the new moon, what's the rhythm. Then you join my school and you go, you know what, I want to really go into depth about my contribution. Because if I can't figure me out, there's no way I can help. So you could be an activist. If you're a fire sign, you want to go be an activist. If you're an air sign like you and I are, you want to talk. You got to keep the conversation going and dialogue and be interested in the other point of view. If you're a water sign, go meditate, go do yoga, go do your internal work and promise us that you do your prayers. And if you're an earth sign, you're going to be in politics. You're going to say, listen, I've got to get some legislation or some grassroots groups where I can make a difference. But each one of you have a role to play. And you've got to figure out what's natural to you. You can't do what's not natural because you'll just feel guilty for not doing anything.
Right. Right. So is that part of it? And then the chart is about finding personal leadership. And that's really kind of
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to share with people?
Just that you've got the last thing I'm going to say, because we're just about done. The last thing I want you to hear is you have to be an optimist. You have to take away because you are susceptible, CJ, to negativity because of that Scorpio moon. You have to take away the scary thought and insert it with proactivity. And Trevor Hall, one of the best musicians you can listen to, Snatum Kaur, you know about her? Snatum Kaur. Her music is so soothing. You have to think about what books you can read and what you can do to uplift your energy. And most of all, you have to look at your family and hold their hands and be the best parent you can be because you've taken care of yourself first. And that's why you come to study with me. Because if you're being happy being yourself, it'll be so easy to give to your kids. Dun, 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 dun. Astrology and Debra, Silverman, and CJ on middle of December when it's getting cold out.
I love it. All right. So I think you've given all the websites. I'm going to be putting them on the screen so that people can see. I'm going to kind of try to. There's so many websites. I don't know what to do. Maybe we'll have a banner on the very bottom of the screen.
You want to see what your chart looks like?
What?
You want to see what your chart looks like?
Well, I think I know what my chart. Okay, yeah, put it on screen.
Just not going to believe it. It's like right here, right now. Watch this. And this is the cool thing about. Let me see if I can get. Oopsie. Hold on a minute. Oops. Can you see it?
Show screen.
I got to go back up. Hold on a minute. Oh, God. Share screen. Is this it?
Yep.
Exit full screen. I need to find that button called share screen. Oh, this is so. Share your entire screen. I did. Am I sharing it?
Nope. I just hear a bunch of clicks. All right. Tell me what I should expect next year. Anything exciting?
Can I tell you how much easier Zoom is? It's so much easier.
I know. I've heard it. I've heard that from someone. 3 or 4 times.
This is so annoying.
I don't know if it can Zoom record things on video.
Oh, look.
Okay, here it comes.
To us.
Now I just see me looking at me.
Happy birthday to us. And there you are.
Ah, yeah, it looks like 3 triangles. Here's
your sun in Aquarius. Here's your moon in Scorpio. Here's your Gemini rising. And you have this really interesting... I can't tell you now. You have to call for another session one day and we'll just do your chart. Won't that be fun on the radio? On the radio. And see this right here. The last thing I'm going to tell you is your moon and Neptune are conjunct. And that means that you're very intuitive, like really intuitive.
Oh, good. Okay. We'll do a reading. We'll do a reading later. You can show me what happens. This is weird. I'm looking at me. Is this like we're all one? We are all one. I'm projecting myself onto you, and you are projecting myself back to me because I'm just projecting myself.
You're so Gemini rising. I love you. Okay, I'm hanging up.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. Would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.